Rajesh Gangar, a distinguished design thinker and prolific inventor, stands as a testament to resilience, innovation, and social impact. From humble beginnings as a child laborer at the age of 13 to achieving recognition as one of the country's top inventors, Mr. Gangar's journey has been marked by remarkable milestones and a profound commitment to societal betterment. As the managing director of Always Creative Private Limited, a startup with a mission to reduce the burdens of rural women and introduce low cost wheelchairs, he exemplifies visionary leadership that blends creativity with a deep sense of social responsibility. With an impressive portfolio of nearly 64 patents and a diverse career spanning manufacturing, consultancy, and innovation, Mr. Gangar's insights into the economic landscape and industry trends promise a captivating exploration of his experiences and perspectives and the future trajectory of the sectors he has left an edible mark upon. Please welcome Mr. Rajesh Gangar.
How I started. The journey is very interesting. I was a child prodigy, but I had a different father. From a normal father, my father was different. In the sense, he was insecure that if I make my son study, he won't take care of me. So that was his baseline with everything he does. So he had this intention, उसको ज़्यादा पढ़ाओ मत, and finish off. Now, if you have that mindset of a parent, so education would become a challenge, and that was a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
So it so happened that when I was around 4 years old, I used to stay in a small town called Vasaigaon, okay, and there was only one clock in the whole town, the clock tower, yeah, and people used to go there. I'm talking early 60s to see what is the time. Or some schools had some clock, or some good people had a clock at their home. Watch was a luxury like anything. Like you would walk like this. Sure, watch. Okay. So I learned how to read a clock. And in a school, I was the only boy till primary of a population of around 2,000 students who knew clock. Okay. Now that's not a big deal. But my teacher didn't know clock.
Didn't know
clock. She used to teach kindergarten and first standard. But she knew one thing, that bell rings and we get to go home.
And that's the time.
That's what was her biggest interest.
Right.
So she used to send me at regular interval what time, how much more time. Okay, so that was my job. But by that time, my fame spread across. Right. There were many other instances what all I did. Like at the age of 4, I did welding. Like I didn't pay the welder. I sat there, got my eyes red. She thought that he's so committed, let me do it for him for free. My father didn't repair the tricycle, because I had kept outside the door and the truck bank. So he said, it's your call. Now whatever, I bought a bicycle, further it is your call. So I had no choice to go. So, father was a figure which really empowered me to go beyond my limits. Now, in first standard, my school teacher, my principal called my mother and said, this child is too bright for a school. Because in that school, only 3 people completed their SSC, and the highest who got was 46%. And there was a procession of nothing less than 800 people just to honor him that he passed SSC. Wow. So that was the status of the school, Gujarati school, right, in Vasaigaon. Okay, so you can just imagine from where we used to come from. So the principal said, such bright child is not required. So I was sent to a school, English medium school, during the Christmas break. So the guy who stood first vouched for me, this guy will get admission in the school. So when I went to the school, they asked me Jack and Jill, they asked me Twinkle. And then they asked teddy bear. And I have never heard about teddy bear. So the Dheeraj who was accompanying me said, I'll train in half an hour. Sister said, last chance. If you can train him, we'll accept him. If he doesn't, it's okay. So Dheeraj trains me, and 3-4 minutes I finish the training. I go there without knocking, without asking, just go and teddy bear I do and come out. So the teacher got annoyed. Like, who is going to teach manners?
Okay.
You need to knock, you need to...
Right.
There's a process, and what this guy just comes and does a whole teddy bear. So she gives one more assignment. So I do it again, and this time I knock, I go, I wait for her to answer because I've been trained by this guy. Got to go. I'm absorbed in the school, but without lower KG, upper KG, without first standard. Directly on the last 2 months of the first, I clear things, etc. Fine enough. Now, why I'm saying this all? My education is grounded. Now, everything I do in my life, I relate back to my education.
Okay.
So I'll share you a commercial example.
Sure.
So once I got an assignment to buy a place for a person. So they owned they wanted to buy a piece of land from auction from a company called MTNL. MTNL wanted to sell that place, and they had advertised, and some pricing was there, 65 lakh rupees was advertised. So we were sitting, I was around 28, 29. We were sitting and we said, we need to, the person who wanted to buy said, I'll pay you any amount, I want this place. Don't worry about the price, let's get the deal. And in those days, white money was a challenge.
Right.
So the competitors for that, those who had taken the prospects, were Indian Oil, were Bharat Petroleum, some other banks, etc. State Bank was one of them. And what we did is, we advertised in a newspaper that this amount of size of place, something similar to that, some same area, and we gave a phone number. So people used to call, we used to answer this, that. Owner doesn't want to tell who his identity, etc.
Right.
And then what he did is, we set in the auction. People said, this is asking 65, 62 lakhs, we are getting the place. So 5 of the people, they internally circled. And when auction started, we came to know that nobody is bidding. So we internally bidded twice, thrice. Just that it looks like.
Right.
Yeah, and then we got the place for a price. Things got over. So this guy, unfortunately, he's not good guy in today's, in Indian terms, but he was that time a big shot. Even today is a big shot, but he's a fugitive for Indian, right? So I don't want to name him.
Sure.
So he says, why and how did you was so sure that we are going to get this job? I said, in third standard we had a lesson on a price of a donkey. So a person goes to sell a donkey with his son. They give him a price, then another price, another price. Finally he gets so fed up with so he throws the donkey. So how to frustrate a buyer? How to create a bigger line than the existing line, etc. All we put it on a paper, and then we were clear that this is how we are going to work. So we did many things on those grounds, basically using your education. Like one more example I should give, but so there was a strike, Tata Saman strike, and this guy had a diamond unit. He wanted 1,000 workers. Okay, 1,000 people are on strike, 1,000 workers are required. Now that also in 8 days. Now the challenge for the diamond worker is, if I give them work and if they take away diamonds, then what? So it's a big challenge. So we designed a mechanism where they pay 5,000 rupees as a deposit. There are some referral systems, and we send it buses, this, that, across to villages, get the people, and finish the job. Instead of 8 days, 21 days it took us to finish having 1,000 people in the company, and restarted everything without worrying. Again in that, what all I have learnt in my school, only I used. Like in my school, they taught me a lesson of Shivaji.
Oh.
Shivaji.
Huh.
Okay. So Shivaji goes to meet Afzal Khan. He prepares himself.
Right.
He prepared for what? He prepared for, in case he hurts me, I should use my Wagner, I should use this. Whatever he prepared, his height, size, etc., where he is doing. And he was ready with it in case the meeting doesn't go well, right? So a worker looking for a job, he needs security. He need not sure whether somebody is going to call me for an interview, whether he'll go. So I send a bus. So it's the other way. Instead of Mohammed going to mountain, I go to and get it. So number of people we got 8,000 people and we selected 1,000 of them. So like we had a choice.
You're spoiled for choices actually.
No, but that is what the way we should do things, like, right? Because I buy 1,000, I give isko job chahiye, job de do. That's not the way it should work, and especially not in the diamond trade. So point what I want to make is that we have learnt everything. We hardly need education. Making charts, making these things is fine. I mean, it's an art,
right?
Not a thought process. So now, I was when 13 years old. My father said, no more education. And he said, school में लिखना पढ़ना सिखाते हैं. तुमको लिखना पढ़ना आ गया, उसके बाद स्कूल कुछ नहीं सिखाता है. You can do it on your own. Why waste money? Tuition fee क्यों बिगड़ना? No doubt tuition fee was 20 rupees, but that also was a sizable amount for him. So he said, no, nothing doing. So I had no choice but then accept him, because finally I had one choice to run away, but who's going to teach me?
Yeah.
So we made a deal that I'll go to school and I'll also make money. And luckily for me, that time government of Maharashtra announced that nobody can manufacture during the daytime. Night only you will get power.
Oh, okay.
So my factory, so I got 100 rupees from him, which I have to run for 1 month. And in that 1 month, I should take care of all the costs. So 3 rupees per day is what I had to spend upon me. And I had a very simple marketing. Like my next door neighbor, whatever he used to work, I used to work in my company and give it to him. So he used to keep accounts. And for me, the major cost was tea. Chai ka kharcha tha. One employee, chai ka kharcha. So I had a stove, stove,
Sure, gas stoves, yeah?
No.
Kerosene stoves.
Kerosene stove with a wig, etc. Right. So in that, if you put a tea, it takes around 40-30 minutes for tea to get fully boiled. And my unit was in Sharma Estate, Goregaon, which had 4 tabelas adjoining it. So this tabela, I used to go to get milk. They used to not charge me because we were neighbors, but they wanted to learn English from me. So barter system started there. And they were not very serious learners, but they were enjoying a young 13-year-old kid sitting on their lap, telling them whatever they are telling them. Now, within 4 months' time, I was the richest boy in school. And the way I measured richness was that I owned my own bicycle, which was a Hercules, double barrel, strong enough to take 100 kgs load, and enough space to keep a yellow cloth to clean the mirror, shine it, and stand before the school, see yourself. That was the selfie at those times. Now, the thing went different. I mean, it created a big havoc in the school, especially in the girls. So one girl fought with her parent. You have nothing. So that parent called me. My daughter is very upset with you.
With them?
With them, because you are saying she has nothing. I took her to Egypt, I did this, that. I said, all fine. That is all yours, nothing of hers. So she should do. So she wants to take tuitions and make money, etc., etc. I said, that's her choice. She can take a call whatever way she wants. I am taking my call. I am doing my help. So this is how my life was. So this, every aspect of life kept on inspiring me.
Right.
The guy who called me up after 1 year, he used to stay from Goregaon to Nepean Road. So you just imagine the richness about there. So that cycle, I could market for a bigger place, and that's how I moved from a screw machine which was 400 rupees whole setup on rent to owning that, then buying a lathe, then buying a capstan, then buying an automatic, and slowly buying my own piece of gala. At 23, I had a car, an Italian second-hand car, unmarried guy in Goregaon, which had only 122 cars across. All the garages were built in the buildings without any car, hoping that somebody in the building would buy a car. Those were the days. Like, I'm talking of early 80s.
Oh, right.
And proud bachelor having a car, etc. Also, I used to do my part-time engineering that time. So I did my 12th and I did part-time engineering. Now, when I used to do engineering, I had a big advantage over others.
Why so?
Because already 5 years I have spent doing engineering without formal education.
Yeah.
I had lot of doubts or lot of questions which could get sorted out by my professors. Also, I had friends, those who had a similar background, also used to come for part-time from big college, big companies like Godrej, GKW,
sponsored, right?
Yeah, the sponsored one, or they themselves used to take. But those were the people, those who were also engineers, working in engineering. From being a part-time, you have a cream of people, those who are really hardworking, very focused, want to do something in their life, etc. They are not just like baap ne paisa diya and padhte waise nahi the.
Right.
So I completed part-time engineering in Bhagubai in 3 years against a full-time course of 4 years. So when I went to take my certificate, my principal got up from his chair and he said, "You are the only 3 children in my lifespan who have completed in 3 years from part-time. Don't tell it to anybody because a 4 years course would go in waste if you're completing in 3 years." So we just laughed. Then we became friends, and then he became my consultant. Then his son, and that's a different story altogether.
Right.
After that, I did my industrial engineering, and that's where I get connected to Welingkar. So my industrial engineering paper, the exams used to be conducted in Welingkar. It was a distance program, so only for exams we used to go. So that's how I came to know there's a Welingkar.
Right.
And it was 83, 84, etc. I used to go there and give exams. Now, when I used to do industrial engineering, I used to learn time and motion study. So this visiting card should be kept here or where, or the saucer should be kept here with how. Those all things I studied for 4 years.
Okay.
That's not good. But when you study time and motion, that is all you need to do in engineering. So there's idle time, there's a feed time, there's a speed time, etc. You work. Now your productivity, because of industrial engineering, is best in the trade. Means I can challenge anybody how to make that because I've been educated that way. But all the subjects I used to literally apply because I had a factory and I had education. And I had a raw education.
Right.
Now, what I differentiate between raw education and the education is the same thing. You give me an interview, you give me a questionnaire.
Right.
I said, keep it aside. Right? That's a spoon feeding. I feel that may not help much for students. I can just say, okay, let me introduce myself. I am Rajesh Gangar. I am 64 years old. I have 64 filed patents on innovations. I have visited 2,000 I have stayed in 2,000 cities worldwide. I have taken 200 long haul flights. I have trained 47 IIT engineers. I can keep on going saying what blah 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 blah. How it's going to impact the other guy? Nothing. He says, oh, blah. He is just going to label me one small piece of paper. He's a big guy, and he stopped thinking about me. That doesn't help, right? So what I want to say, when you do education and you do practicals together, then only you can use the education.
Right.
Now that opportunity is missing for my son. So he's having a good life, staying in Australia, getting good package.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't want to work on Saturday, Sunday because he says it's a holiday.
Right.
And for me, it's an opportunity So today on a Republic Day, I feel okay. Let me use the time for something good. So I moved from there slowly. I went on making CNC machines, uh, building things for ISRO, for BARC, for Godrej, for L&T. And slowly people internationally, by the time internet had already arrived, so I was one of the 23rd recipient of an email address. In 15th August they launched. On 16th August I had my email account. I was always a step ahead, so that was the reason. And by next year I had an online business from UK to supply them some components, and they were also thrilled. I was also thrilled. I had a website in 1 year's time, so which was like, nobody builds website. I said, I'll build website. So I was ahead of time. That's okay. Now that gave me an opportunity to export. And slowly, based on the customer's demand, etc., I reached a place where 95-97% of my goods were exported. I had an office in Germany. I used to supply to BMW, Mercedes, and big brands like Maybach, etc. But 2008, everything crashed. So when everything crashed, my office, instead of getting business from me, all the purchase officers were asking jobs from me. We were in big dilemma, like they have just changed the table. So by that time I had 450 employees, I had 67,000 square foot built up place, all whatever required for a good life and nice house. But then I told myself, do I really need all this? Because when I started with 100 rupees, my mind wanted only 10,000 rupees. 10,000 will be more than 100. You go 100x, man, that's more than enough. When 10,000 happened, when 1 lakh happened, when 10 lakh happened, when 1 CR happened, when 10 CR happened, just no idea. Life went on. So in 2008, I took a decision for myself. I said, I don't need more money. So I would retire, but not retire fully. Half of the day I would retire, I'll work. Half of the day I'll do social work.
Okay.
Now, social work, what normal people understand social work is politics. And for me, social work is connecting society, taking points of society which are hardship and to work on it. So this social work, the first thing I thought of, because I used to stay just opposite the railway station, I have seen so many deaths occurring on the railway track. I said, let me do something for this. It's my project. So I go to railways with my project report and presentation and all that. How to bring zero death on railway track. And with no reference. So I go there. They said, very good. They pat my bag, take the project and keep it in a shelf. So I keep on following, it's vacation, this, that, etc. After 3.5 months, I realize I'm knocking at the wrong door. So then I again go back to schools. In a school, I learnt a lesson. The lesson was, one guy was given work to whitewash his house, his fence. So he calls up his friends and says, it's a skill set to whitewash the fence. Nobody gets this opportunity to do, etc. And there is some level of clarity you have to achieve, etc. Whatever he professes, and then 8 of his friends does the whole whitewash. This guy just says, "Mother done, job done." So I realized there should be something for the other person. So one of the things the other person is looking for, pride. Whatever I do, if I get a pride, I'll do. So people do. So this is what. So what I did is I redesigned the outcome of the. And I said, you are going to get award from International Labour Organization Geneva for this work. Your promotions, this, that. And I designed those trophies and this. I also designed an award, Public Transporters Award, and gave an award to BEST, gave an award to railways, gave so whatever need to be done. Now by this time, these people were clear, okay, recognition is coming. Let this guy, if anything go wrong, we'll hold him. So they gave me a Goregaon railway station with lot of conditions. Okay. The conditions like, if anything happens there, railway is not responsible, their parents are responsible, their college is responsible. Okay. Now what I did is, I went to NSS. This NSS guy, he heard what I want to do and he said, I'm with you. We'll give 10 marks to students, those who give 40 hours of duty. So that becomes a big help for me. Yeah. There was a condition by railways, you cannot bring any religious organization, you cannot bring any social, there are no banners of your organization should be there, etc. And there was a condition from my house, which said you are not going to spend a penny from your pocket to do the social work. You hardly made some money and you want to spend on all social work, you will get drenched. This family is not going to suffer because of your whims and fancy. Right? They were also clear. So I took it on like, okay, we'll have both the conditions in mind. Right. So I go to them, the students, and tell them. Then we find a middle way. So railway assures me that, okay, we'll pay for water, we'll pay for samosa, we'll pay for travel, and we'll pay for uniform. So I'm clear now, this money is going to come. I go to students and say that, okay, you're not only going to get marks, but it's a big deal. You're saving lives. Life is the last thing in life you want to do. They are all empowered. Out of the 4 colleges, 3 agreed to come. One, Patkar, only said yes, but because they were on the bigger pedestal, for them it was not. So small colleges said, okay, we'll do. And the whole thing went on. The last day before the day handing over me the station, they said the deaths occur on the railway crossing and you are not allowed to go to railway crossing. Railway crossing belongs to BMC. Okay. It doesn't belong to railways. We cannot give you authority to do anything over there. Now we have to redesign. Right. So we redesigned the thing that nobody walks from the railway crossing to railway station. So that whole time saves. And those who are crossing the railway crossings, we put some local banners from Sholay and from this and that, and which people used to read and think something new and not normal. So those all broke. First 7 days, no single death. Again, 6 or 7 deaths, not a single death. So now the people, hoping that, okay, these guys will give some bribe and will walk off, and that thing was not working. So they realized that bribing is no way out. By 15 days, instead of 14 deaths, not a single died. So now people agreed that we won't cross the tracks, etc. Things were happening. Right. Now we had a bigger challenge. Again, I will go back to the school. And I held a competition of 58 schools, where around 100,000 plus students participate, writing an essay on evils of crossing the track. And we went to each school, gave the brief, and also asked parents to participate. And we had to correct 130,000 essays, where 2 of the parents participated to write good essay. And we gave awards to every school, from 1st to 4th one award, from 5th to 7th another, etc. We hold all what was required for their recognition. Now that gave me around 2.5 lakh people to vouch for the movement called We Won't Walk on the Track. After seeing that competition results, etc., we went to the postmasters and we said we want to distribute 5,000 societies this letter, where they would put on the notice board, also to all the Ganesh Mitra Mandals and whatever societies have. So the postmaster was so kind of that you don't put a fixed stamp, we'll deliver it free as a social cause. So slowly teams started building up. Now every society in Koregaon had this notice board, we are not going to cross. And if anybody even attempted, there was so much cry, who and cry, so that person who used to even think, consider, the other people will never jump from there. At the end of 30 days, there was a big function. Okay. The big function was that all the schools awardees would be given this thing. Never ever, DRM, which is Deputy Railway, this guy, even if he goes for inspection, he has to take 2 bogies behind, 2 bogies front, and in between his bogie. Then only he can go for inspection. That's a norm of railways. General manager going outside is not at all possible. It's just never happened. And on our function, we call them, we call the MP, we call the MLAs, we call the corporators, everybody. And there were party issues. Somebody belonged to Shiv Sena, Congress, so all of them. So there were issues, reservations. We sorted all that out. And we had a grand function. And around 150 newspapers had covered every day whatever we were doing. There were many TV channels we were covering. But every time we should insist that this is General Manager Railways project, not Rajesh Gangar's project. Because that was we had given in our condition. Now, by the end of the whole, when the felicitation was, Railway said, you all are doing good job. You keep on doing. And it was a real slap on my face. Well, I am demonstrating to you, man, how to stop that. It's not my job. It's your job. You should take it on. Railway said, we have enough of things in our cup. We don't know what to take. But then we kept on regularly participating. And now from 4,000, the deaths have gone below 1,000. And this is for 70 years it was going up. Now, there are many other reasons apart from that. Now, what we did is we also implemented Six Sigma on human beings. Nowhere in the world anybody thinks on a behavioral Six Sigma. You can do things on anything which is non-living. On living you cannot do. But we said, no, let's keep this assumption aside. And we did it.